Live from Columbia, this is Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network. Be a part of tonight's show. Call us at 800-956-7266 or email talkback@sportstalksc.com. Now, here are your hosts for Sports Talk, Phil Kornbluth, Kevin McCrary, and Tom Hayes.
It's great to advance out of the group, a group that many people thought we wouldn't advance from. Still, we would have liked to end it the last game on a better note. We'd have liked to got a result. But at the end of the day, we're excited about getting to the knockout stages, and hopefully we can do better than we did last World Cup.
I feel good about the kids we got coming in. I feel good about the kids we got coming back. I feel good about the coaching staff. I feel good about what we've learned and what we're going to do to get better. And at the same time, I feel good about what we do.
Well, so when is a loss a win? When it's in the World Cup, of course. And, of course, some people want to say the Americans backed into the round of 16. But, they had to do some work early on. They had to win a match. They did that over Ghana. And they had a second match won. They let get away, but at least it was a tie. So they put themselves in position for a little bit of wiggle room with some help, and they got that help today from Portugal because they lost to Germany 1-0. A win or a draw with Germany would have automatically moved them forward. But the way things worked out, the Americans moved forward, into the round of 16. And I can tell, just looking at you, that you are overcome with World Cup enthusiasm.
Well, not really, because first of all, one of the things that gets me is the fact that we got to realize that the other countries, usually their best athletes are playing soccer. Jadeveon Clowney, LeBron, and whomever is not walking through that door playing soccer. So that's the thing. Also, when you see the Americans play, when they play against a superior team, you might as well just move the cameras to one side of the field, because Germany was on their side of the field the whole game. It's almost like you're shooting at one of those tennis ball throwing machines, and you got one racket, and that's why the excitement is kind of quelled in me, because I know the other countries usually have their best athletes out there. We don't.
So you're saying that even though it was a 1-0 game today, and notice how I have adopted the international terminology for the World Cup. 1-0 game today, it was dominated by the Germans because the ball was on their side of the field all day.
And that's one of the measures of soccer, I think, just being a novice viewer. I've watched it over the years, that you can tell when a team is superior when the ball is always on the other side of the field.
Mm-hmm.
And let's face it, Germany is a seasoned group, and they are tough. I mean, plus I think the Americans, and it's ideal for them to play a protective style and not get overly aggressive.
You weren't real happy with the way they handled the final minutes of the match on Sunday. You kind of feel they put it on cruise control.
Yeah,
there.
well, I just thought, I think they were probably protecting the lead, but sometimes you can be too safe. In other words, the old term, playing not to lose instead of playing to win.
Yeah. Well, people don't realize that you were the leading scorer for the Denmark Olar soccer team.
I don't think
back in the 1970s, 60s,
I don't think we ever had soccer.
50s and 60s and 70s. We have got a lot of good stuff coming up. Frank Martin, Jack Leggett, more. Be right back.
the captain today. After the match, these thoughts going through to the round of 16.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to advance out of the group, a group that many people thought we wouldn't advance from.
Stand by.
It is Sports Talk here on a Thursday night. We welcome you into the program. Phil Kornbluth, the empty chair, Kevin McCrary, and the state man, Graham Pope, over here behind the bulletproof glass. And over here, dressed like it's 45 degrees when it's 98 degrees.
Probably is.
I am worried about you. We got to get you to a doctor and find out why you're so cold-blooded. Cold-blooded.
You know, cold-blooded people live much longer than those who are warm-blooded.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Sure
I didn't. So what is your average
well, my
blood temperature?
My granddad lived to be 107.
Well, that bodes well for you.
I'm not so certain.
All right, our phone number is 800
evens out.
800-956-7266 if you'd like to join us tonight before we expire. 800-956-7266. Email talkback@sportstalksc.com. On Twitter, and we thank those of you signing up for our Twitter feed. It continues to grow every day, and we encourage you to sign up at SportsTalkSC. It's free, doesn't cost you a thing. You know, you go to our website, sportstalksc.com. That's free. You listen to our audio feed there. That's free. You watch our webcam presented by Palmetto Pride. That's free. You know, there are shows that charge you to watch online. They want to rip you off for money. They want to rip you off for audio. They want to rip you off for video. Not us. We're all about giving it to you for free. It's what we do here on Sports Talk. It's news. It should be out there for you. It's free. Go to the website. You can hear us there, sportstalksc.com. Bottom of the page is the webcam feed. You can see us right now. This is me over here, the pros over there, and even Steak Man pops up whenever there's a dull moment in the show. He's the dull killer. When it's dull, he pops up on the screen. And on Facebook, it is Sports Talk Radio Network. Coming up, we're going to hear from USC basketball coach Frank Martin talking about going overseas with a couple of players, Ty Johnson and Sindarius Thornwell. A little overseas trip for those three, a little international play in Finland. And that'll be happening later this summer. He also updates the team and some other things. We'll let you hear what he had to say. Jack Leggett, Clemson baseball coach, was visited with the media today up at Clemson as he was having a camp, and nothing new, just reiterating the same things that he told us after the meetings with Dan Radakovich, but we'll let you hear that as well. And let's see what else we got coming up for you tonight. Oh, yeah, a old friend, familiar voice across the states, David Bennett. Hasn't visited with us for a while, but he'll join us tonight, 7:30, to kind of catch up with him on the building of his new football program, which I think this year will play full-time varsity football for the first time. What's that, River Ridge?
River Bluff.
River Bluff.
River Bluff. Yeah.
Sorry. River Bluff.
He
River
got the
Ridge.
river part right.
Halfway there. So we'll have him on as well tonight. Recruiting, an update on Damon Arnett. Briefly, don't look for a decision from him anytime soon. We'll give you details on that a little bit later, as well as other recruiting too. Now, updating a few news notes, beginning with the World Cup, because this is World Cup Central. The Americans lost today 1-0 to Germany. However, because of the way things worked out for them in their group, they were able to advance to the round of 16. So here is how the round of 16 shapes up. On Saturday, Brazil plays Colombia. On Sunday, the Netherlands face Costa Rica. On Monday, France, hang on a second, I'm reading this all wrong. Back that up. On Saturday, Brazil plays Chile, and Colombia plays Uruguay, or as some might say, Uruguay.
Mm-hmm.
How would you pronounce it, Pro?
Uruguay.
Yeah. See, I was reading these up one under the other instead of across the page.
Looks like the high school softball thing,
There are just certain things that I screw up every year. You can count on it.
Now, I know the Americans are playing Belgium.
Sunday, don't spoil.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, the Netherlands play Mexico, and Costa Rica plays Greece. On Monday, France plays Nigeria, and Germany plays Algeria. So, playing first, and then Algeria playing next against Germany. Nigeria, Algeria. So if they both win, it'll be Nigeria against Algeria. They should just combine and form one country of Nigeria. On Tuesday, Argentina plays Switzerland, and Belgium will play the United States of America. And that's it. That's the last match of the round of 16, the knockout round.
The Sweet 16.
And then the quarterfinals will be on Friday, July 4th, and Saturday, July 5th. Semifinals on Tuesday, July 8th, and Wednesday, July 9th. And then the final will be on Sunday, July 13th. Steakman, who is your pick? Now that we're down to 16, the magical 16, I know you've been following this, breaking it down, the various statistics, and who you have playing in the finals on July 13th.
I've broken down nothing, but I'm going to go with the old red, white, and blue.
No, you've got the Americans playing in the finals.
No, I mean, does that make sense? Absolutely not. That's who I'm pulling for. Absolutely.
Well, I know that's who you're pulling for. I'm not asking who you're pulling for. I'm asking you who.
Can anybody in the studio right now, do we have any kind of sense of what's really going to take place soccer-wise? We don't. Brazil.
We have as much claim as anybody else in America does. I mean, I can go sit in a bar and scream USA, USA, and act.
I got a couple friends around here that know their soccer. We're not an authority at all.
It's just like college football. Right now, you go with Alabama. If it's soccer, you go with Brazil.
Let's hear from Clint Dempsey, the American captain. He was interviewed after today's match, losing 1-0 to Germany, but it wasn't a complete day of defeat because the Americans advanced to the next round, the round of 16.
Knockout round.
And he was interviewed by, who was the person doing the interview?
I believe it's Jeremy Schaap. I'm not.
This is from ESPN. Here's Jeremy Schaap. We think it's Jeremy Schaap talking to the former Furman star and the American captain, Clint Dempsey.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to advance out of the group, a group that many people thought we wouldn't advance from. Still, we would have liked to end it the last game on a better note. We'd have liked to got a result. But at the end of the day, we're excited about getting to the knockout stages, and hopefully we can do better than we did last World Cup.
How aware were you, Clint, of the goings-on at the other game?
I wasn't. We just kept going. We were just trying to push for a draw. We knew if we got a draw, then we'd go through. So that's all we try to push for. In the end, we did enough, I guess, to get through.
The bond and the team ethic that you guys have. Are you an underrated side, the USA?
I don't know, maybe by other people, but we believe in ourselves. We always believed that we could get out of this group if we played well. I thought we put in, a lot of work. We showed a lot of character, even at times when we weren't playing the best ball. I thought we played really well last game, but this game, they had most of the possession. We were trying to keep shape, trying to do a better job. But when we got the ball to catch them on the counter and try to be a little bit better in the attack and third with our final passes, but we just weren't as sharp as what we needed to be to try to get a goal today.
And just quickly, you've come through a tough group, and it looks like Belgium next.
Yeah, I mean, they're another top team with a lot of quality players on their side. But the knockout stages, anybody can go through if you bring it on that day, and we'll do everything that we can and make sure that we put in the work that we need to, and hopefully play to the best of our ability. And if we do that, I think we can get a result.
Well, obviously, that was not Jeremy Schaap asking the questions. We do know that was Clint Dempsey, wasn't it?
Yes,
we are for sure that
was
wasn't
Dempsey.
somebody. It wasn't Michael Bradley. It wasn't one of the other guys. We know it was Clint Dempsey. That was not Jeremy Schaap. Thank you, State Man, for saying that up for us. So the Americans move on. NBA draft tonight, Pro. I know you are jacked up about that. Couple of, one move today, a report, the Nuggets landing Flalo from Michigan. From the Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Nice pickup there, you think?
Decent.
The big three from the Heat met today to talk about their future.
Yawn.
So who do you think is going to be – who will Cleveland take? Will they hold on to the number one pick, and will they pick Wiggins?
Might be Philly. Philly wants Wiggins bad, and they are putting the full court press for number one.
Lee Klein will join us at 7:10 to give us his final thoughts on tonight's draft. Back in a moment.
Yeah, let's go Celtics. There you go. Win a bunch of rings with them. Weren't you talking about how many rings you're going to win with them last night? After he dropped to you guys? Bad pelvis and all that stuff. You mean the entire NBA?
Yeah, we thank you for joining us here on Sports Talk tonight, wherever you're dialed in around the state. If you're listening to one of our fabulous affiliates, certainly thank them for being a part of the Sports Talk family for all these years. We thank you for supporting them and supporting their sponsors as well as our sponsors. And, of course, if you lose us over the airwaves, our website, sportstalksc.com. The audio feed, the video feed is there for you as well. 800-956-7266. If you have something on your mind tonight over the next couple of weeks, things really kind of slow down. Dead period in recruiting starting on Monday. Then you've got the July 4th holiday kicking in, and recruits, coaches, everybody will be kind of kicking back, getting in that last bit of vacation. But you know what is 2 weeks from Monday? 2 weeks from Monday. Can you believe it? What's 2 weeks from Monday, Steak Man? See if you're smart and alert. 2 weeks from Monday would be.
Give me the date. August.
No, that would be July. That would still be
July. I'm sorry.
That would still be July. See, nobody pays attention. How about you, Pro?
I have no earthly idea.
No earthly idea.
No,
none whatsoever. 2 weeks from Monday. I'm gonna leave it out there. Who knows what is 2 weeks from Monday and why it's big?
When you come back from vacation.
Well, that's part of it. 2 weeks from Monday and why it's big. All right. Anybody paying attention? No. Tiger Woods back on the course today in the Quicken Loans National at Bethesda, and he shot 74 first time out, and that leaves him 8 shots back of the leader. Greg Chalmers, 66 for him. Ricky Barnes, a 67. Freddie Jacobson, not the Freddie. It's another Freddie. Freddie Jacobson, 67. Bill Haas, 68. Let's see what some of the other locals and favorites did. Ben Martin, 72 for him. Davis Love, 72. That's +1. Scott Brown, +1. Kyle Stanley, +2. Jonathan Bird, +2. Ernie Els, +3. No, I'm sorry, +2. Tiger, +3, as we mentioned. Jordan Spieth, +3. Kevin Kisner, +4. Russell Henley, +475. So that's the way things look. Quicken Loans National up at Bethesda, Maryland. Congressional. Terrific golf course. And let's see, what else I want to mention to you. One note from Frank Martin today in talking. Well, 2 notes. Number one, when asked about his thinking about James Thompson, the signee who's got the legal issue down in Baton Rouge, asked where that situation is. He basically told us to shove it. So now he did in not such kind words. We'll let you hear what he had to say on that. And also, he mentioned that one of his freshman players, Shamik Shepard, tweaked his knee and was being examined today. And we'll see if we can get an update on that for you and see how that's coming along. Didn't that seem like it was all that serious, but he said he tweaked his knee the other day. Charleston Southern basketball coach Barkley Radeball has announced the hiring of Tyler Murray as an assistant coach. He spent the last 6 years on the staff at Shorter. And we'll be right back.
Monday, July 14th is SEC Media Days. I'm really not, man. It's one of those days. What are they testing? Why is somebody from Charleston sending you a cast? So why is it being sent to you as opposed to they don't have a way to send it out? I have no idea how that's going to work. So what studio does he cut his cast in anyways? I mean, what studio do they cut from is what I'm saying. So he's got to get it an extra 10 minutes early, too, to get it to you, and you be able to send it out. Minimum. You Frank here?
I'd never coached international basketball till last summer.
Frank's a 5 spot here, so you want to throw one of these spots in here, by all means. Okay, whatever. I've never even looked at the times, to be honest with you. No need, no need. Stand by.
And we're back, Sports Talk, here on a Thursday night. Good to have you with us. Phil Kornbluth, empty chair, Kevin McCrary, Professor Tom Hayes, Steak Man, Graham Pope. So you figured out what is 2 weeks from Monday, Steak Man, that's so important?
Yes, I did figure it out. It's Monday, July 14th would be SEC Media Days.
I
figured that was my best guess, but I had to do the math on what day it was.
Oh, is that supposed to be important? Okay.
This
Around
chair,
these parts, yes.
The throne will be empty for the next 18 days because we've got 2 weeks of vacation coming up starting Monday, thank God. And then off to SEC Media Days. Now it's 4 days. What's wrong, SEC? You couldn't stretch it out an entire week? Couldn't go 5 days with it? Had to cut it to 4?
Somebody's listening, and that's what's going to happen because you suggested it.
And then that immediately the next Sunday, we're in Greensboro for ACC players and then the coaches on Monday. And then we come back, and that week after that, that Wednesday, if my dates are right, I think they are, that Wednesday will be Steve Spurrier's golf tournament with the media. And we'll also have Brett Favre in town. And then the following week, we'll have Fisher DeBerry's gathering of the coaches. Also, the day, that Tuesday of SEC Media Weeks will be Dabo Sweeney's media golf tournament. And K-Mac will be there for that.
Here's the question.
So you'll be here by yourself. K-Mac will be there. I'll be there. You'll be here.
Here's the question. If you have an ACC Media Days, but you have a certain team that only plays 5 games, is Notre Dame part of the ACC football media?
Yeah, they'll be there. Yeah, they'll have Louisville. They'll have Notre Dame. Pittsburgh, of course, will be back. Syracuse will be back. So, yeah, they'll have the whole group there.
So, in other words, the division in football is only in monetary terms. They get all the perks and other stuff.
Yeah, that's a good question. Will their players be eligible for all ACC and things like that? That's a good question. I don't know that question has been brought up or answered. I guess we'll find out at their ACC Media Days. Now, today, USC basketball coach Frank Martin and 2 of his players, Ty Johnson and Sindarius Thornwell, met with the media to talk about their upcoming trip in early August, the 4 Nations Cup. They're going to Estonia and Finland. I think that's only 2 nations, but they're calling it the 4 Nations Cup to play some international basketball. Martin will be the coach, and Johnson and Thornwell will be 2 of the players. Johnson says he's 100% now coming off the foot injury that cost him most of last year, says he's 100% ready to go. And Martin was asked to talk about why he wants to be a part of this, why it's important for him and for the players to have this chance to work together on a team internationally prior to the start of preseason practice.
I'd never coached international basketball till last summer. If you watch the San Antonio Spurs play this year, that's how most of those teams play over there. So we get 4 practices to prepare a team to go win against teams that are pro teams and national teams that have a system in place and they play that kind of basketball. It's going to make me a better coach to have to be able to prepare a group of guys that never played together to play against that kind of basketball. It's going to make me challenge my thought process of how I've been used to preparing teams. So that's only going to improve me to help me personally to continue to grow our program. And then those guys, they're going to be playing that kind of style against pros. I mean, guys that play professionally for their countries in this tournament, and they're playing, a guy like Ty. If you combine all the college games he's played, he's barely played one college season. So he needs games. He that experience with referees, another team, getting coached. He needs that, and then Senderis is, Sin's got a chance to have a great year for us next year. Knock on wood, and it's going to be a great experience for him as well.
So along that line, how's summer workouts going? Not just with those 2 particular players, but the entire squad. Going great.
I'm extremely happy. It's day and night with the approach, the physicality, the attention to detail, the sense of urgency for every drill in the middle of summer. It's we do a lot of teaching at this time of year. It's about individual development. It's about footwork, technique, skill development. But it's Dwayne has been awesome. Dwayne's had a great spring and summer, which doesn't surprise me. The Lithuanians are better. Demetrius is better. It's just I have a different feel about our team right now than I've had at any time since I've been here, which excites me because I had a pretty good feel for this group of guys last summer. But right now it's better than it was last summer. So that's what I look for. I look for that progress.
Anybody dealing with any sort of injury situations here in the summer?
Everyone's pretty good. Everyone, it's healthy. Shamik Shepard tweaked the knee, so we got to get that evaluated and see what happens. But everyone's good. It's I don't know if you're trying to jeopardize or jinx somebody here, Phil, but everyone's doing pretty good.
So tweaked the knee. Was it recent? Have you guys gotten it examined, MRI, that kind of thing?
Yeah, Mark Roger, our trainer's dealing with that as we speak. So we'll find out. We'll see what happens here.
What are you expecting off the court where you're traveling here, Finland, Estonia? Is that right? Any idea what to expect?
As much as I had to expect going to Kazan last summer, I'll say this, and I don't say this disrespectfully to any other country. We all have cultures, and our culture is what's important to us. But when you're only involved in your culture, sometimes you don't realize how good you got it. From a lifestyle standpoint, I can tell you last summer made me really embrace what I call home a lot more, the ways that I grew up and the life I live a lot more. And I think the same is going to happen for these guys. It's always great to learn other cultures, so you respect how other people live and the way of life. It's all part of coexisting with others. But at the same time, I think Senderis and Ty, who are going to experience the life abroad for the first time, I think they'll come back and they'll realize we got it pretty darn good over here. It's hard to complain when you got life like the way we live it.
Did you eat bear last year?
No. I ordered some stuff. I hadn't looked good in pictures. I had no idea what I pull out my Google Translator, and I tried to order based on Google Translator, and servers respected the fact that we were trying to speak their language, so they became a little more helpful. But we're one restaurant. It was the last day, I ordered straight from the picture. It looked good on the picture. I said, so I don't know what I ate that day.
What's your situation with the signee from Baton Rouge who's got his legal situation going on?
I think you should ask the people you've been talking to about that, not me.
I mean, as far as you still bringing him in, is he still in your plans?
I think you should be talking to the people you've been talking to and not me about that.
Will what he has to say to you have any impact on your decision, or will it just be the legal process?
I think we put out a press release about that.
Well, here's our dilemma, because we asked the people down there that we've been talking to about that, and they said to talk to Coach Martin about that. So who are we to talk to? We're being volleyballed here back and forth between the two. No, I mean, obviously Martin wasn't going to say anything more about that situation. Next week, Thompson has another court date, and maybe more will be known after that appearance and where that situation is going to be headed. But as far as Thompson being a part of the Gamecock basketball program, I think everybody's just kind of waiting to see how it all plays out legally. And certainly, if he's got a legal problem on his hands that is not resolved here quickly, I don't see how South Carolina can bring him in from that standpoint. If he were a student athlete at South Carolina, he would be suspended automatically. You get arrested, you get suspended, no questions asked. So we'll just wait and see how it plays out down there in Louisiana. We'll be back in just a moment.
The course of the year, but we just had to be a little bit more consistent, put all those three things together, and I like the players that we.
5:15. It'd be real quick to squeeze it all in.
Not a good day for the Braves. Mike is off tonight, so no Braves report. But they lose to Houston to close out that series. But they took 2 out of 3, 6-1, 6-8-1 for Houston, 1-6-0 for the Braves. Mike Minor started for Atlanta, and he was not very sharp today as he got beat up by the Astros 6-1.
Probably out late last night celebrating his alma mater's national championship.
Perhaps, and congratulations to Vanderbilt and Tim Corbin for a job well done. Excellent baseball game last night as Vandy wins the baseball national championship. Today at Clemson, Jack Leggett got together with some of the media up there prior to one of his camp sessions to kind of rehash some of the stuff that we talked about with him a couple of weeks ago right after his meetings with Dan Radakovich. And so let's listen in. You can hear a little bit more from Jack, and he was talking about his team, his program, kind of defending what he's built and where they are now and where they are headed in the future with Clemson baseball.
Of the year, but we just had to be a little bit more consistent with all those 3 things together. And I like the players that we have. I like the attitude that we have. I like the coaches that we have. I like the program that we have. Believe in it 100%. And so I'm excited about what we got in the future. I'm excited about getting started in the fall and getting the kids back in and the new ones in. They'll always infuse you with enthusiasm. And so I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it.
Do you feel like you as a coach on the field or off the field need to somewhat change your approach at all, just kind of alluding to some of the points that Dan Radakovich laid out like last week or a week ago?
You can there's always room for improvements. If you stop learning this business, then you're stagnant and you're dead. So there's always something to be learned. There's always something to improve upon. One thing that we do at the end of every year is we look at our program, which we've done for 21 years, and try to figure out what we can do better, what we do exceptionally well. I would be a little cautious in saying that this program has done a lot of good things for a long period of time. So there's not wholesale changes that we think we need to make. We just got to play a little bit more consistently. It didn't end the way we wanted it to end, but it never does unless we win the last game. So I've been disappointed at the ending of every year, some more than others, I guess. But, if you don't win the last game of the year, it's always the starting point for the next year. So that's where we're at.
Considering what you've done and what you've accomplished, were you a little disappointed that got public? I mean, is that something that needed to be public?
I guess, my feeling about all that is when you talk about things together as a group and behind closed doors, and just like I do with my team. And but at the same time, we need to make some changes. We do some things a little bit better, but at the same time, I think we do a lot of things really well. So I don't know exactly what to tell you, except that I was hoping I never got to this point, because we defend our program, because we believe in our program, we believe in the university, we believe in Clemson baseball. We have for a long period of time. Our former players do, the players that are on our team do, parents do. All of Coach Wilhelm's players in the past believe in our program, and we've got a great relationship. So it's an opportunity for us to improve. It's an opportunity for us to learn and to get better. And that's something I'm always interested in doing.
Do you feel like is there a lot of adapting do you feel like you're going to have to do to either your management style or to your PR style as far as some of the things Dan has laid out?
Well, we've had a good talk about things, and we have a good understanding about what we want to try to do better and what he thinks we need to do better. But I've coached 2,000 baseball games, so I've got a good feeling that I know what I'm doing and that our program does. At the same time, even though we've coached in a lot of baseball games and been around for a long period of time and had a lot of success, there's always things to learn, always things to get better at. And I go home every single day trying to learn something new, and I tell my players that, tell my campers that as soon as you stop learning this game, then you're headed down the wrong path. But I feel good about what we do. I always have felt very good about what we do here at Clemson, and we'll be trying to do things a little bit better.
Does anybody else have a headache after listening to that? It sounded like they were hammering away back there, like they had one of those jackhammers cutting through cement. That's the thing about Clemson. Love it to death and great everything, but you cannot do an interview anywhere outside on their campus without there being noise in the background. It could be the fountain where they take the football players, baseball field. They've always got machines going on after a ball game, cutting the grass or doing something. They don't do basketball outside. I'm just kidding. A little bit of background noise there, but I think you could hear clearly what Jack said. And again, reiterating a lot of the same stuff he told us right after those meetings, that he's coached over 2,000 baseball games. This is not his first rodeo. And some people are acting like this guy just fell off the turnip truck. And that's not fair, and that's not right. And, he'll have Clemson baseball right back in there again next year, right around the 40-win category, I would expect, and in position to make a run in the postseason.
I agree with you.
Yeah. So there. We're going to hit a break, and we'll be back in just a moment. We have got recruiting news coming up for you in the next hour. Lee Klein to give us some last-minute thoughts on the draft, where he thinks K.J. McDaniels will fall, and David Bennett. In case you're interested, Vanderbilt on their website's got the live stream up and running for their national championship baseball celebration after winning last night. If you want to listen to us but check that out, feel free to do so. Just trying to be a public service provider here and let you know everything that is happening out there that could be of interest to you in sports. Also, want to remind you that if you're looking for more from your education, we suggest Palmetto College. Palmetto College offers the quality of a 4-year education, and they do it online. And to find out more, visit palmettocollege.sc.edu. With Palmetto College, your future has no limits. Have to feel good for Tim Corbin.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, his roots in baseball coaching run very deep here in South Carolina. Was an assistant at Wofford, became a head coach at Presbyterian, assistant at Clemson, then the head coach at Vanderbilt. They told a great story last night as the game was winding down. It looked like they were going to win it, and they said his first game at Vanderbilt, I guess it was in February of that particular year. It was rainy, it was cold, it was overcast. They were playing somebody, and he said his wife came up to him about 5 minutes before first pitch and said, there was nobody in the stands. They weren't drawing anybody. There was no interest in Vanderbilt baseball. And she said, honey, isn't there a game today? And he said, well, yeah, this is it. This is what we got right now, and started from nothing and built it into, this year, the best team in college baseball. They were good all year long. They had their little slump midseason. I think they were like 7-8 in SEC play, but that's what SEC play will do to you. It'll knock you down, but the best teams get up and right themselves and get it going. And remember now, this was a team that had to play its way in to the SEC tournament, did so, won that game, if I remember correctly, and then went 0-2 after that. And they were sent home just like South Carolina went 0-2 in Hoover. But they got themselves righted in their regional. I was there for that regional. Clemson was there, of course. Clemson and Vandy never got a chance to play each other, but they took care of a very good Oregon team and went on from there.
And they bounced back. They lose their third baseman. They put in a replacement and didn't miss a beat. The guy fielded flawlessly at third, and I think batted maybe 400 once he got into the lineup. So Vandy, I think Corn Vandy proves to people, once you dictate and find out who you are and use that, you can build a team anywhere. Okay, fine. We're going to sell pitchers. You're going to get a Vandy education, and you're going to play in the best conference, and you're playing in one of the most burgeoning southern cities in the country in Nashville, and that's what they're selling now. And their pitching staff is stellar.
No question about that.
I set him up for that statement because I knew it was coming.
Come over here and slap me, and I have to pay a fine. Top of the hour break.
All right, I lose you.
Live from Columbia, this is Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network. Be a part of tonight's show. Call us at 800-956-7266 or email talkback@sportstalksc.com. Now, here are your hosts for Sports Talk, Phil Kornbluth, Kevin McCrary, and Tom Hayes.
Counting down towards the NBA draft, a little bit after 7:30, the first pick will go off the board. I think most are expecting Andrew Wiggins to be the guy, but we'll find out from our basketball informants and consultants. Lee Klein, he'll join us here in just a few minutes to give us his final take on what's going to happen tonight with the NBA draft. David Bennett's at the bottom of the hour. Head football coach at River Bluff High School, of course, a longtime coach at Coastal Carolina. Thought it'd be a good time to catch up with him after talking with Josh Norman last night, one of his products from Coastal Carolina. See how things are coming with building his program over at River Bluff as he gets ready for the high school football season. Recruiting as well coming up a little bit later on, too. So we got a lot of stuff on the agenda for you here tonight on Sports Talk. Something we didn't mention last night is that Georgia and Notre Dame have agreed on home-and-home series. The Fighting Irish and the Bulldogs will meet in South Bend September 9th, 2017, and then in Athens on September 21st on 2019. Mm-hmm. So 2 games, 2017 and 2019. All right, so that's something you can put on your calendar, and that's a nice out-of-league bit of scheduling for Georgia. You win that game, you're having a good season. Those are very large brownie points to help you with the playoff situation. Who knows how many teams by 2017 or 2019 will be involved in the playoffs?
I would prefer that they play the team that's about 90 miles to the northeast of them.
Thinking about the playoffs and the fact that they've got, 13-member committee that's going to be doing this.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be an uproar. There's going to be an absolute uproar.
Number 5.
Because, not just that, because the committee is not bound by anything except opinion. They don't have to take you if you win your league championship.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to pass you over if you've got 3 losses.
Well, they're bound by one thing.
What's that?
ESPN.
Well, I don't know about all that. I mean, but true. Am I right about that? They basically go over all the data, sit in the room, and decide which 4 teams are going to move on this time around, move on to the postseason. They don't have to take a champion. There's no automatic bids. And if you have a couple of 3 losses, theoretically, they can look at it and say, well, they won their last 4 or 5, and they beat their rival, and they won their league championship game. They just had a rough start on the season. They could pick that team. And my point is, you want to see a team with 3, 4 losses be one of the 4 teams in the postseason playoffs, because a group of 13 believes they're one of the best 4 teams in the country.
And that's why Condoleezza Rice is in the room, because she's had international negotiation experience, and she'll spin it the proper way.
No doubt she will.
June 2009. Yes. No, it was a fish tour at Nashville. It was at Thomas Mack Center. Thomas. Yeah, Thomas Bowling Arena. Thompson Bowling Arena. That's what I meant. I'm exhausted. My brain just stopped about an hour ago. Just done. Can't think. No cognitive abilities. No nothing. How do you know about Thomas Macarena? Corn. Well, I know, but what have you? How do you know about it? Oh, there you go. Stand by, guys.
NBA draft coming up in about 15 minutes or so. We'll get more on that with Lee Klein in just a moment. Something big just hit South Carolina. The HIT, the HIT family of instant games. They are a total of 4 tickets in this family and play for a chance to win up to $300,000. The HIT, the HIT family of instant games, a total of 4 tickets in the family, a chance to win up to $200,000. I think I said 3, misread that. $200,000. And that, of course, comes to you from the South Carolina Education Lottery. All right, the draft, of course, lottery, sort of like. Everybody will be wondering about those lottery picks. Who's going to take whom in those first, 14 picks of the draft? Let's welcome in our basketball consultant internationally here on Sports Talk. He is Lee Klein, former coach and current contributor to Slam. Is it Slam Online? Is that how we find it?
Yeah, Slam Magazine, which the online is slamonline.com.
Yeah, slamonline.com. Good to have you back with us once again. All right, so here we have come to the draft, the first pick to be announced in just a few minutes. What's your projection?
I think the first pick will be Andrew Wiggins. I think the ceiling on Wiggins, for the last 3 years, we've been talking about the potential, the mighty P with Wiggins. And he clearly, comes in instantly as a contributor in the transition game and defensively. And I think we've seen him scratch the surface offensively with a perimeter game and the ability to take people off the dribble. Now it has to happen more consistently, and he's got to gain the confidence to know that, you know what, I'm the alpha guy. I'm the top choice. I'm the guy that needs to score the basketball. So I think Andrew Wiggins will be the first pick, and I think Jabari Parker will be right after him at number 2.
Well, here's the next question: who makes that pick? Will it eventually be Cleveland's pick, or will Philadelphia finagle a way to get the number 1 pick up? Because I know they desperately want Wiggins if they can move up.
Yeah, you know what? I think Philadelphia would like to package these 2 picks and get Wiggins, and I think that's a good fit here because, in my opinion, Cleveland's concerned about taking 2, number 1 picks back-to-back years from Canada, and if it doesn't work out, having to face, Northeast Ohio with saying, yes, we're the guys that hired 2 guys from Canada in back-to-back years, and we took our coach, who's best known for coaching the Russian national team.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not going to sit well in February in Cleveland if they're not successful.
How far will Joel Embiid fall?
He won't. I mean, 6 is the furthest he's going to fall, in my opinion. I think he's between 4 and 6. And here's the thing: none of us are doctors. No one could predict, if you will, the extent of his injuries and how it'll play out in an 82-game season, what his body's wear and tear and threshold is. But what we do know is the immense talent and potential he has, and we hope that he has an opportunity to give his best shot to play here in the NBA. So I think he's between 4 and 6, you're going to see Embiid.
So, I mean, if you're sitting there between 4 and 6 and he's still there, I mean, you're talking about a guy that appeared to be the lock as the number 1 pick before these injury issues popped up.
Yeah, no question. If you're the Celtics, for instance, at 6, you're ecstatic if Embiid falls to you because your whole push is that 2015-2016 season with the cap room that you opened up from last year's trade with the Nets. So you can afford to wait for Embiid to get healthy and to get a little, and deal a little bit with the NBA lifestyle. I think that when you look at some of the other teams, like, for instance, Philadelphia at 3 currently, well, that's not a good fit for Philly because they just sat a whole year waiting on Nerlens Noel. Mm-hmm. You can't then go and tell your fan base you're going to select another guy that could be out for the greater part of the year and expect the fan base to go out and buy season tickets. So that's where I think 4 to 6 is where you'll likely see Joel Embiid.
Is there a guy that no one is talking about that could sneak up in the top 10? I have this feeling when I think about it, a guy that's mature, he can do a lot of things, but maybe his motor doesn't run quite as fast as people want. But he played for Tom Izzo, and that's Adrian Payne. He seems like a guy that should be mentioned in the top 10, but you don't hear it that often.
Here's the thing about Adrian Payne. I think he has great value for a few reasons. First and foremost, he's one of very few rim protectors that are in this draft. The second thing is that he's as athletic a big, and he could stretch the defense with the ability to shoot the three-point shot. And then the third thing, which I think we forget, look at the improvement this kid has made in the past 2 years. Now think when he's in playing and being coached by the best in the world in the NBA and working specifically, I got to believe there's more improvement to be made for Adrian Payne, who's probably, and that's where there's this great value in this 15-plus range. 15 to 45, really 20 to 40 is a great, great pickings during that area. And a guy like Adrian Payne, who's probably going to get outside the top 10, who's, and scratch your head or so on, where the potential that we overrate will, in essence, be selected ahead of those that have done it relatively successfully on the college level. And that's what you're going to see here in the draft coming up in a few minutes.
What are you thinking on KJ McDaniels now? Moving on up, holding a steady there towards the end of the first round? What are you thinking?
I think he's 20-plus, end of their first-round pick. I think Miami would be a great destination for him. This is assuming the Heat are predominantly the same nucleus that we know. They need a perimeter defender, and I think KJ McDaniel would give them a great perimeter defender and also give them an upside guy, a little energy, youth, some athleticism. I think he would be, he'd find a good home there in Miami. I see him in that type of range. So I think, and here's another guy that when we talk about that value at the end of the draft, is he perfect? Is he going to step in? Is his game, complete? No. But everyone's got some sort of flaw, and this mental aspect that no one, truthfully, is prepared for, this mental leap, not so much the physical leap, but the mental leap to the NBA, to handle minutes and struggle, or to handle not getting minutes. That mental part of it is going to be the difference. So I think the end of the draft provides this great value, and I really believe that you've got as good a bet that those guys are going to pan out in the second half of the lottery after this top 5, this 5 to 15. I almost bet that the second part of that 20 to 40 will end up outproducing it.
And the Hornets, real quick, who do you foresee them taking at number, 23?
Well, the Hornets, I believe, got a couple picks here, and I could see them, being active. With them, I think the primary focus is point guard, backup point guard to Kemba Walker, and this is a deep point guard draft. Everything from, I don't know if Tyler Ennis falls to them. He's a possibility. Jordan Clarkson, I like a lot. Really, the guy kind of tailed a little bit at the end of the year when he found out his father had cancer. I think he's an upside guy. So I see the Hornets really looking hard at the point guard position, and I think they'll find, they've got a lot of guys. Another one that's a little underrated is Spencer Dinwiddie, who missed a lot of time with an ACL injury. So I love this. Of course, this Shabazz Napier, who was the best player in college basketball at the end of the season. When you look hard and you're looking for point guard, there's terrific findings.
All right, hang on, Lee. Going to hit a quick break and come right back to you for a little bit more.
Big wave surfing has always been about bending the rules. Now I have the tools to bend them even further. Somewhere in the world, a massive wave is waiting to be found. With technology this versatile, finding it is easy. Dropping in, that's another story.
Help Ian discover a monster wave with the HP Pavilion X360.
A strange occurrence is taking place all over the city. Soccer balls are being stolen without a trace. No one knows who the villain is or why he's doing it. Hopefully there's good reason for these mysterious actions.
Stand by, guys. Coming back.
And we're back. Lee Klein visiting with us, our NBA consultant here on Sports Talk, our basketball guru. And the Hornets, by the way, they have the number 9 pick and the number 23 pick. So that's what you were talking about, them having multiple picks in the opening round. What do you make of the trade between the Knicks and the Mavericks in particular? The Knicks sending Chandler and Felton to the Mavs. Who benefits the most from that deal? Was it one of those situations, especially considering Felton's legal issues, that it was just best to get him out of New York?
Well, it's time to, for the Knicks, it's time to turn the page. You've got a new offense, you've got a new coach, and you have to go and get a roster that's going to give your coach the best chance, one, to run the offense, and two, to kind of coach the guys that he wants in his system. So Chandler and Bargnani could not coexist, just on the floor. They just didn't work together. You couldn't play them together. And I think, for Raymond Felton, quite honestly, was disappointing. Had a disappointing season, and it's time, needs a fresh start. So I think it's good for both teams. I think for Dallas, defensively, they need to get back to being the team they were when they won it with Chandler. And I think for the Knicks, you got to give Derek Fisher a chance. And you got to be able to flip a good portion of the roster to do that, so that you can sort of let him execute his offense, let him go with his guys, and have some patience with him.
I guess the question, I have a couple of players that are mature and probably mature and ready to go in the NBA, not to explode, but at least have the mentality to adjust. And that is Marcus Smart from Oklahoma State. Is he really a point guard, and are we putting too much emphasis on maybe his lack of foot speed when we look at a Doug McDermott, who has, I guess, range out to the locker room door?
Well, I think two uniquely different. I like Marcus Smart as an NBA player. I've seen Marcus Smart's been a guy that, in essence, been under the microscope maybe a little too much. And we've seen him fail. And because we've seen his failures, we've started to kind of downgrade him as a prospect. But the reality is Marcus Smart is a winner and a leader. And his toughness. And, he's got a body type we really haven't seen in the NBA at the point guard position. He's a little bit unique in that regard. I think he'd be a perfect fit with Oladipo in Orlando. We'll see if that actually happens. Orlando did make a move in trading Aaron Aflalo today. I don't know if that opens the door, but Marcus Smart is going to have. I think he's going to be a good NBA player, and I think we'll make the adjustments. We've seen him struggle. We've seen his shot be inconsistent. For Doug McDermott, I'm concerned mostly about who's he defending in this league, because now you're talking about the most athletic players in the world. He's got to really guard the four-man. He's an offensive three. He's a defensive four, and it's going to be a concern on whether or not. I do think that his basketball IQ is so off the charts, and his understanding of spacing. I do think he's a productive rotation player offensively. But I think you need to have the right guys with him.
Lee, we thank you so much. Great stuff as always, and we enjoyed talking to you about the NBA and college basketball. We'll be right back.
Included a #1 pick in Tim Duncan, Kawhi Leonard, a 15th pick, Tony Parker, a 28th pick, and Manu Ginobili, who was the 57th pick. So every name you hear tonight could make the difference for your team. These young men tonight have long imagined the moment when they hear their name called from this podium. It's a lifelong dream realized after years of hard work and dedication.
Once again, thanks to Lee Klein for being with us tonight and being with us throughout the basketball season, NBA playoffs, sharing his thoughts with us on various basketball topics. We're about 4 minutes and 50 seconds away from the first pick. We'll bring that to you as it comes down. But right now, time to welcome in an old friend to Sports Talk. It is David Bennett. Of course, you know him primarily from his days at Coastal Carolina, but right now he's the head football coach over at River Bluff High School and getting ready for a full-blown season of football over there. And we welcome the coach to the program. He's on his way to a vacation, so we appreciate him taking some time out. How are you there, my buddy?
Doing good, Phil. How about y'all?
Hey, we're doing great. We appreciate you being with us tonight. We had one of your former players on with us last night, and it sparked an idea in my head to kind of catch up with you and see how things are coming along with the development of your program over there. So how would you say things, you've been through the spring practice now, you're getting ready for the season, and how do you feel things have kind of come together for you in a relatively short time?
Well, you got to always remember you got to wear that AD hat before you the football coach, or everybody will get mad saying you want to do everything for football. So it's awesome with the kids, all the great kids we have there in all the sports. And just get to concentrate a little bit more on football right now. And we're really excited about week 0. We've got what we call the Battle on the Bluff. And on Saturday or Friday, week 0, on the 22nd of August, we're going to have Cardinal Newman playing Pillion, and then the nightcap is Dutch Fork and Greenwood. And we think that's going to be a heck of a game. And then on Saturday, we've got Gilbert playing Ainer and White Knoll playing Fort Mill, and we play Westwood. And so we're real excited. Most places have these jamborees, but it's going to be neat having all these different games to kick off the season at River Bluff, which is an unbelievable facility that we have there.
So if I'm counting properly, did I count 5 games over those 2 days?
Yeah, 2 on Friday, 3 on Saturday. And Barry Harley at Gilbert said, how in the world we draw the 2:30 game on that sports turf? And I told them run fast and try to put it in the box so you can rest them up on the sideline a little bit.
Tell us about your facility. You got the field turf, as you mentioned. How many do you seat? And is there anything unusual about it besides the fact of being a typical high school football stadium?
Well, there's some suites up in the press box which make it real nice. We hosted the state championship for women and men's soccer. And then the neat thing, too, about River Bluff, we have what's called the Gator Collaborative Commons, which is the end zone building, which during the week it's used for different teachers and organizations to meet. And then on game day, sponsors get to come in there, enjoy the air conditioning, Coca-Cola products and food, and you don't usually have that, in a high school setting, which kind of puts it in a class of its own.
Yeah. So if I'm correct about this coming season will be the first full varsity season for you at River Bluff?
It will, and, we play Westwood and Gilbert, Columbia, Fort Mill, Cheraw. So we've got some good games. Cheraw was looking for a game. We were looking for a game, and it's going to be neat having all the Cheraw folks come to River Bluff. So, again, everything, Phil, you find the positives to everything. And the neat thing about, I got so many friends go, well, you coach in high school? You doing, well, why are you going back to coach high school ball? And I'll tell you what, it makes you thankful for that you teach and coach to lead kids and get to be a part of their life. And I got to sit with one today while I was getting brake pads put on the Tahoe, and this player came in, he's getting his oil changed, and we got to sit there and just talk for 30 minutes. And, you know, it's a small window that, again, we get to be a part of their life and stay a part of their life, you know, for the rest of their life. So that's the neat thing. And I tell you what's neat too, I'll promise you this. There's not a B team in the state of South Carolina that has people like the Hammer, Gary Smalling, and Colonel Phil Williams coaching the B team. And so it's just neat to be a part of that and to watch these kids grow.
Absolutely. I know they are great at developing the talent and probably got you some good quarterbacks coming down the pike as well. Hang on a second, Coach, because we've got the first pick for the NBA draft coming up here. We want to carry that announcement live, and we'll come right back to you. Talking with David Bennett from River Bluff High School, which is I guess technically over there towards Lexington, just down the road from Lexington, and they're going to be going into their first full year of varsity football coming up, and we'll talk more with him about that in just a moment, but I do want to carry the announcement of this first pick. Well, while we've got the coach on the line, you mentioned Sherrall. Have you ever coached against your alma mater before?
No, I coached there for 1 year, coached JV basketball and helped with varsity baseball back in, the 1984.
Yeah. And they're coming to your place.
Right, coming to our place the first year.
That's got to be kind of neat for you.
It is, except they pretty hard-nosed. They're pretty good. They went pretty deep in the playoffs last year.
Yeah. Well, you know, they always have good football. Now, what kind of and I may have to interrupt you here in just a moment, but what level of football did y'all play last year? Was it simply JV?
It was 3A, but we played half JV, half varsity.
Yeah. That's why I see where you had a record of 6-2, but that was a combination of a JV schedule and a varsity schedule.
That's right.
Yeah. And you guys will be what class this year?
We'll be in the 4A there with North Augusta, South Aiken, White Knoll, Lexington, us, and Irmo.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty tough. That's pretty tough.
Howard Goodwin and Reggie over at Irmo.
Oh, no question about that. Hang on just a second. We have got the pick coming in from the NBA draft, and we want to carry that here in just a moment. We'll get back to Coach David Bennett, waiting on the commissioner from the NBA to walk out to the podium and tell everybody who it's going to be. Let's go live.
With the first pick in the 2014 NBA draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Andrew Wiggins from Toronto and the University of Kansas.
All right, Andrew Wiggins goes first, the son of Mitchell Wiggins. If I'm not mistaken, Mitchell Wiggins was a Clemson player at one time.
Played at Clemson, transferred to Florida State, and played on some good teams with Vernon Maxwell in the backcourt with the Houston Rockets years ago with Moses Malone.
All right, back to Coach Bennett. How are the rest of the sports coming along in just your, I guess, second year? How's the development of some of the other sports?
Our cheerleaders, they won the state, and the band was second, and soccer, men's and women's, played for upper state championships, and tennis played for an upper state championship. So it's pretty good for the first year. Swimming, both won the region men's and women's. So it's a lot of fun. You know, you think there's never a dull moment with 36 sports teams and about 70 coaches, Phil.
Do you you miss the college aspect? You miss the recruiting and just, you know, what college football was all about?
Going down the road, I was just telling my wife, we cut through the back roads back on Green Sea, and, you know, still a lot of tobacco farming, and you know, you see the signs to Tabor City, and just you bring back memories of going to recruit kids, and that is a part of it that you miss, is the recruitment, getting to know these kids and going to different places in the country. But I will say this at the end of the day, my number one job is to be a great husband, to be a great daddy. And so I've had a little more time to be a better husband and be a better daddy, you know, in this role.
Yeah. Well, we think we're doing a fine job doing that anyway, but I'm glad you feel like you're having more time at home and you're enjoying being with the family. Enjoy the vacation. It's great catching up with you, and good luck this football season. We'll be in touch and hope things go well for you.
Appreciate it very much. If you want to come to the game, just give us a holler.
You got it. We're going to do that. All right, David Bennett over at River Bluff High School. That's a great way to kick off the season on week 0 with 5 games over there.
I've been out there to look at some of their facilities. He'll look at those facilities. It's better than some colleges, quite frankly.
Well, a lot of these high schools do that. And what a marquee matchup, too, Dutch Fork and Greenwood to help kick it off. Recruiting coming up.
The collection plate is going right in here with the my pens and highlighters. Eventually I have enough for a number 5 of the 12-pack and a Dr. Pepper, a couple of Polynesian sauce from Chick-fil-A.
Tonight. Well, you know, it's an awesome feeling to know that Andrew has achieved one of the goals that he has dreamt of all his life, and now he has to go further than that. Now he's in the NBA. He's going to make all new goals all over again and start over again. So I'm excited for him. I'm just very proud of him.
A thrilling night indeed, and Reese, pretty fun. It's actually Andrew Wiggins' day in his hometown of Vaughan, Canada tonight.
Heather, it is. Andrew tweeted out that he was grateful for the support that his hometown has given him and the big smile, and rightfully so, for the #1 overall pick in the draft. So Cleveland made us wait for quite some time, but Milwaukee's made it quite clear what they plan to do. Whoever was left, they were going to take between Wiggins and Parker.
Tuesday, man.
And assuming they didn't throw up a smoke screen or throw us a curveball, we expect to hear Parker's name. Adam Silver is about to step to the microphone and give us the Milwaukee Bucks pick.
With the 2nd pick in the 2014 NBA Draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select Jabari Parker from Duke University.
This is what the Bucks needed, a star to revitalize their franchise, a guy who put the ball into the bucket. The guy who averaged 19 points, nearly 9 rebounds in his one season at Duke. Led the team in both categories.
Out of the frame, afraid of the moment, like guys like
guy that the
LeBron
Bucks
James.
try to re-energize their franchise around. They didn't get the #1 overall pick, but they might have wound up with the best guy for them.
Well, certainly the best offensive player.
With the second pick of the NBA draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select Jabari Parker, Duke, sociology major, went to one class, and now he's going to be rich with that Duke education.
Man.
Yeah. Recruiting coming up in a moment. Hey, when you're out on the water, I know you're heading out there, probably out there right now. We're going out there this weekend. Coach Bennett's heading out to the water down there in his favorite, one of his favorite beach spots down in North Carolina. We encourage you to have a great time, of course, but we also encourage you to never drink and drive your boat. Always designate a driver and always wear your life jacket. Let's all make it through the summer safely. We got high school football, college football coming up, and you all want to be there to enjoy it. Let's avoid any tragedy on the water this summer. All right, we'll break in when number 3 comes up here. In the meantime, let's give you the recruiting report tonight, led by defensive back Damon Arnett of Fort Lauderdale. Of course, he appeared on the brink of a decision last weekend when he visited USC for 3 days with his parents. That was his second visit in a week to USC. It led to high speculation. He was on the verge of joining the Gamecocks, but while 3 others committed to the Gamecocks over the weekend and early this week, he held off. And apparently the reason was he wants more time. Said this afternoon he'll make 2 more visits before making a decision. The Gamecocks, he said, are still in the running. Quote, yes, they're still in it. But he said he'll visit Kentucky and Ohio State, then make a decision. He did not give a date for his visit to Kentucky. It'll be in July. He's already been there once. He is scheduled for Ohio State July 26th. And today the Buckeyes stepped up and made him an offer. So don't discount Ohio State in this particular recruiting scenario. Defensive end Albert Huggins of Orangeburg-Wilkinson, who was at Clemson's camp earlier this month, told us last night he is next going to visit Georgia, and he now has a date for that visit. It is going to be, as soon as I find it here in my notes, July 19th. July 19th, he will be going to Georgia. No favorites, he said, too early for that, and he hasn't taken enough trips. South Carolina, he says he's been there quite a bit, very familiar with South Carolina. He said he does not feel the need to get back there. He said he still talks to the coaches, and they're real interested. And, of course, he's very interested in Clemson, as we profiled earlier this week after his camp stay up at Clemson. He's got Clemson pretty strong on his mind as well. No favorites, he said, but strong interest in Clemson and USC. Offensive lineman Vinzel Boulware, Fairburn, Georgia, earlier this week announced the top 5 of Clemson, Southern Cal, Alabama, Ohio State, and Tennessee in no order. He's been to each of those except Southern Cal, and he does want to visit them. He called Southern Cal his dream school. His earlier visit to Clemson, he said, was eye-opening, and it led to him including the Tigers on his short list. He's developed, he said, good relationship with the coaches. Says they show him a lot of love. They were also his first offer. He's impressed by the school and the tradition. Did not say where he plans to visit next or when he'll make a decision. Tony Morrell from the Big Spur has an update on USC signees 2014 and when they're going to enroll in summer school. The next group, and he said enrolling in summer 2 will be Terry Guger, DJ Smith, and Donnell Stanley. And he says that these players will not report, as they've not yet been cleared by the NCAA clearinghouse, Joe Blue, Wesley Green, Chris Lamons, and Darren Smalls. Coach Jackie Hayes at Dillon, Joe Blue's coach, did tell us recently that Blue had qualified as far as getting, I guess, the test scores and the GPA together, but it still all has to go through the NCAA, the SEC, and the clearinghouse before it's all official. Of course, USC will not have Justin Thomas in this year, and they're still waiting on Dexter Weidman's situation to be resolved. Malik Great, wide receiver from Pendleton, picked up an offer today from Furman, his first offer. Linebacker Ricky DeBerry Jr. from Virginia, a Clemson target, says he's going to visit Miami after the upcoming dead period. Basketball news, Clemson is working very hard with point guard Juwan Evans, Greenville native who now lives in Dallas. He's down to a final 8 of Clemson, Illinois, Southern Cal, Virginia Tech, Tennessee, Texas, Oklahoma State, Cincinnati. And his AAU coach and mentor is Lamont Simmons. And he says that since moving out to Dallas, the publicity and Evans' reputation really have taken off, gotten great exposure out there, and also playing for an AAU team, which finished second in the nation last summer, also has helped. Now, July will be a big month, of course, and Simmons said that they're going to reevaluate the final 8 after that month is over. Then they'll take some visits from there with his final 4 or 5, then make the decision. Very close with Clemson, he said, has a very good relationship with the Tigers and with that coaching staff, has been to Clemson several times and may try to get over there while he's home this month. Be right back.
I think Joel knew it was
Get Joel some coffee.
Embiid recovering after surgery on a broken navicular bone. This is the guy that, Jay, you believe is the top talent in the draft.
I do think he's the #1 overall prospect. 7 feet tall with a 7'5" wingspan. Enjoy your favorite beverage. There'll be more to come later. But he can run. He's got great hands, amazing feet. I'm telling you, Reese, I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be Olajuwon, but you put him side by side as freshmen, you cannot tell them apart. He's a rim protector that's got defensive range. He doesn't just block shots around the rim. He can move and block shots and block them outside the lane. And on the offensive end, he can post up and score with his back to the basket. And he keeps adding things to his game. He can step away, knock a shot down, turn around jumper. He's got a jump hook. He can play pick and roll basketball. He's got terrific feet. And his hands are terrific. And he's going to get better and better and better. His productivity per 40 minutes, 19 points, 14 rebounds, almost 5 blocks a game. The kid can play.
So I watched him work out about 7 weeks ago. He reminded me of a 7'1" Serge Ibaka. The way he moved, I think he's going to be able to have a little 18-footer, play with both hands. He's such a good athlete. He just looks like he's built to play basketball. Jalen, you disagree a little bit?
I like Tim Duncan. They're both the same size, 7 foot, 250 pounds. He plays with his back to the basket. But I know one thing. Luckily for him, he's in L.A., not here at the draft, because he was not enthusiastic at all about being drafted. And this should be the happiest day of his career.
We should get a refund on the camera we use.
With the 3rd pick in the draft, the 76ers select center, power forward, Joel Embiid from Kansas. Of course, you got to remember now, with the NBA draft, nothing is as it seems all the time because there are trades coming up. I want to get back to recruiting here, just a couple of more notes, and finishing up on the information on Juwan Evans, very fine point guard from Greenville, now living and playing out in Dallas. And like I said, Clemson is on him strongly. They jumped on him early in the recruiting process. They've developed a solid relationship with him. And his mentor, Lamont Simmons, told us that Clemson's probably got the best relationship with him and his mom. They've been around the longest. They were the first to offer. He's known their coaching staff a lot longer. He said, I wouldn't say he has a true leader, but I would put it at those 8 for right now. And again, I think he's going to try and work out a visit to Clemson. There's a dead period that begins on Monday. There can be no visits until July 13th, between Monday and July 13th, but perhaps sometime after that. Tevin Mack, the prospect from Dreer, tweeted today, got his ACT scores back, and he's good. He's a Clemson and USC target, among others. And another Clemson target, Rayjon Tucker, visited North Carolina today, recently offered by Clemson, and his stock is also going up. So there you go with recruiting, and don't forget you can see our recruiting for your very eyes right on our website, sportstalksc.com. Check it out, and the hashtag Recruiting is a great way to follow all our recruiting information on Twitter, #STRecruiting. So, yeah, what looks like it's going to be the case right now, Pro, by tomorrow, there could be a lot of changes with where players end up after the draft.
Yeah, because you got to remember in the NBA, a little bit different from the NFL. Once the draft starts, they announce trades after the picks are done. This deal may have been made
Which I think
to
is
the draft.
unfair.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. Yeah, because guys have to switch caps and that sort of thing. If not,
well, your fan base. I mean, we saw some Philadelphia fans, man, they were really excited about Joel Embiid.
Don't get too excited because it may be changing. Here's the interesting thing is stock up for Philadelphia's orthopedic surgeon with Nerlens Noel and now Embiid. He's going to have he may have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, but you know what? Let's just say he sticks and they get healthy together. What a strong 1-2 punch inside. You talk about protecting the rim. And, of course, Embiid has a good offensive game. He can stand outside and face up and shoot the 15, 20-footer. That could be a terrific combination.
Could be interesting.
But people are comparing it to Greg Oden. But, you know, Oden had that microsurgery with the knee. And, of course, he's got the back and the foot. But I don't know. I don't know that I'd put him in that category just yet. Let's give him a chance. All right, that will do it for us tonight. We thank you for being with us. Have yourselves a great night, and we'll be right back at it tomorrow night to wrap up the week. Thank you, Steak Man. Thank you, Pro. See you tomorrow night, everybody.